naona mambo yao sio mbaya sana. Wame improve. Asa sisi kama maaslas na wakulima. Sana sana upande wa ukulima. Wakulima saa hii wanafurahia hii serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Ngawaje hata miaka 2 haijaisha, ni mwaka tu, lakini tunaonelea mapato. Ndio nafurahia serikali yetu ya Kenya Kwanza.
Hii Hustler Fund ilikuja ikasaidia sana wananchi. Hadi sasa kuna watu bado wanaenjoy dunia, na hiyo ndio uzuri ya kujitegemea kama nchi. La pili ni watu kulipa ushuru. Umeona kama nchi inaendelea, ushuru zinalipwa na kila mmoja anachangia, nchi inakuwa vizuri. Na hapo ndo kama nchi ikiendelea hivyo, haitachukua muda sana kabla bidhaa ya vitu kurudi chini na biashara za watu kurejea vizuri.
Kulingana na maoni yangu, kulingana na vile rais anafanya kazi wakiwa na mwenzake Rikiji pamoja na mawaziri, kazi yao sio mbaya, kazi yao ni mzuri. Lakini pia upande wetu tungeomba ya kwamba wangetia mkazo ili wananchi wanapopambana na shughuli za kila siku kutafuta maisha na riziki, pia na wao waunge mkono, aswa sana upande wa vijana. Nakumbuka ya kwamba kweli rais wetu wa Jamhuri ya 5 ambaye ni William Samoei Ruto alikuwa ameduaiti ya kwamba upande wa Hustler Fund every time atakuwa na review limit, na akasema hiyo itasaidia vijana kujikimu kimaisha. Lakini kwa saa hii ukirudi kuangalia ni kama rais ametusahau kidogo. Kwa hivyo nilikuwa naomba rais akumbuke hilo, alafu pia na kazi kwa vijana, sababu vijana wengi kwa saizi maisha iko juu, gharama ya maisha iko juu na vijana wanakosa kazi.
Kulingana na utendakazi wa hii serikali ya UDA saa hizi, mimi kulingana na mpaka saa hii mimi naona bado wamelegeza kidogo, kwa sababu sidhani kama bado kuna upinzani ambayo inashurutisha serikali kufanya hivi na hivi, kwa sababu ya ukiangalia hata barabara za huku Nandi sasa zimeenda chini sana. Huku barabara bado ni nyembamba sana, hawajatengeneza barabara ile ahadi yenye walitupea. Tunaona zikifanyika mahali pengine, lakini hapa Nandi bado mambo ya barabara iko chini. Ukiangalia ni nyembamba. Haya, hata signpost peke yake ya kutoka karibu Eldoret tu mpaka Chavakali hakuna yenye inatuonyesha hapa kuna bumps, hapa kuna makona, kuna nini. Lakini ukienda maeneo mengine imetengenezwa sana.
Ndio kauli ya wakazi hapa kaunti ya Nandi Stanley, ambayo wameweza kugusia masuala mengi ambayo wanasema kwamba wangependa serikali hii kuweza kutekeleza. Wanasema kwamba waliweza kuahidi siku ya kampeni na kwa kweli bado hawajaweza kuafikia kuyatekeleza, na wamesema kwamba bado wanahitaji miundo msingi kuweza kuimarishwa katika kaunti hii ya Nandi. Ni hayo tu kwa sasa kutoka kaunti ya Nandi. Mie ni Chris Bet.
Right, thank you, Chris Bent, for that in Nandi County, just telling us, picking some sentiments from the residents there. 1 year later, since President William Ruto was sworn in a year ago, a time like now, it was a whole moment, and a big moment even for the president-elect around this particular time. But then we're asking you now, 1 year on, what do you think has been the biggest achievement of President William Ruto? Just to take a look at what you are saying on Facebook at TV47KE, that is on Facebook, TV47 News, that is on X. And just to pick a few of what you are saying right here. And remember, even as you also tell us what you think about this particular conversation, you can give us some particular reasons. Okay, there you have it. 1 year on, what do you think has been the biggest? And quite interesting comments here on Facebook. Faye Paragasha Kadzu says Kaunda suits. Danny Clown says relaunching Uhuru projects. Willis Gishohi, Kaunda suit tax Kaunda suits and tax. Derek Sesi says nothing but trips daily and 2027 campaign. Another interesting conversation here. And the feedback, Kiongozi Paul Bent, the highest number of teacher employment, independent police account, teachers and police salary increase, subsidized quality fertilizer, improvement of Kenya's foreign policy, operationalization, Mombasa Port, having all government payments under all one pay bill, all this and many more, while taming distractors. Okay, Oweri says lie, countersuits, and being a tourist president. Bernard K.E. says high cost of living. Matthew Sakwa, he has achieved to promise everything under the sun in a period of 1 year. Okay, Meshach Mumanyi, how does this bring food to the table? All right. Yvette Carroll says hustler, rather fertilizer price down, food prices going down, hustler fund returning Mombasa Port, police walimu salary increase. He has negotiated visa to many countries, stopping maandamano basically. Hustler Fund, at least he gave us opportunity to buy meat for our family. That is according to COD wa Europe. Eli Kipkirui, subsidized fertilizer, which we are realizing its output. Ezekiel War, numerous trips and promises after promises. And William Khaemba puts it as mambo ni matatu, kuvaa countersuits, kulaunch projects za Uhuru and kuendelea kutoa ahadi zenye tafanya kiwa rais. All right. Charlie Ray says they are there, but if you don't want to see, you won't see them. Another one here, Geoffrey Minzumi, busy camouflaging payslips. Ndama mtoto wa ngombe, Yangome, sorry, just appointments to his friends and talking about Raila. Kulente Otieno saying Hustler Fund, and Otis Patel says, I see nothing done yet. Right, that is on Facebook. Quite a number of this particular conversations here. Duncan Olunga says corruption cartels. Remember, you can only even call in live to just tell us what you actually think about this particular conversation, even as we continue. The number on your screens right about there, 0768 098 and 491. Call in live and tell us what you actually think about this conversation 1 year later on. What is the biggest achievement, or what are the number of achievements that have been done by President William Ruto, even as we continue to see in different counties what is happening. And just to update you what to expect today, the High Court will today start a hearing in which Embattled Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni challenged the ouster from the party in matters politics. And away from that, a group of Ethiopians who are in police custody pending their repatriation to their country staged a hunger strike, causing panic at the Athi River police station. And also the National Treasury has proposed a review of the country's taxation regime, with the government expected to reintroduce another wave of levies under its medium-term revenue strategy. That is on today's County Diary, getting to see what is expected. But then now from here in the County 047, head crossover live to Kakamega County, where our very own Violet Auma is. A very good morning to you, Violet Auma, right there in Kakamega County. Update us what we should be expecting today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stanley Nyaringita. We are in Kakamega County, as you said. A lot is happening, but basically today I am with my guest who will be talking about matters climate change that has affected a number of sectors in the country, and among them health. As you know, the other day we had a summit in Nairobi, and we saw CS Susan Nakhumicha calling on government to ensure that not really actually government but also international bodies to ensure that they allocate a lot in terms of resources to fight diseases that emerge as a result of climate change. And I am with one of the officers here in Kakamega County. Moses, probably if you can introduce yourself, and we'll talk about whatever is happening in the country.
Thank you, Violet. My name is Moses Mombe. Mimi ni afisa wa health promotion hapa Kakamega. Talking of climate change and health, they are two inseparable things. But we all know that climate change affects health, but not the vice versa. Climate change, talking of the carbon emissions, they're not the only causes of this climate change. In health, we are going to talk about family planning. Family planning is a topic that we cannot evade in any point when speaking of climate change. Failure to plan ourselves with our families to have that sustainable family size will mean that more forests continue to be cut down so that we settle these people. When we settle them, it means that the air will be affected. Yes, the quality of our air will be affected. That's why we will have these changes that we are seeing. So whatever we see, these are the results. The floods, the famine, these are the results of climate change.
A lot emerge actually comes as a result of issues climate change. You're talking of flooding and others. We believe that we have some diseases that come out as a result of that.
Yes.
Probably as we heard from Susan Nahumita and even other, doctors and other people, talking about these issues, that we have these diseases that were not actually there initially, but now they are emerging as a result of climate change. Which are these particular diseases probably, and what really needs to be done?
Yes. Like you've just said, emerging, and they're called emerging and re-emerging diseases. These are mostly we recently had COVID. Yes, COVID-19 is one of the emerging diseases. We also have had cases of Ebola, though our country has not really experienced it. Maybe we had a scare at the border of Busia when it was in Uganda. I believe our country is well equipped and we are all alert on these diseases. So COVID, it really opened us, our preparedness and our capacity. I know we really handled it well up to now. So we're continuing to do the screening, and the citizens know well how to tackle this COVID. We know how to wear our masks. So the prevention measures that we have put in place before, they are still the same, and they will still hold in place so that we prevent any future scare. So that's it on the emerging and emerging.
Well, of course, when talking of that, we also have malaria, and we have been told that we also have another type that have actually been discovered in the country. And when talking of floodings and all that, we believe that malaria thrives in such such areas. Probably as a Department of Health, what are your concerns in terms of ensuring that, you prevent the disease, the spread, and also, other than preventing, you also have the caution that probably you might be giving to the locals?
Yes, first of all, we should all know that when there are floods, diseases such as the diarrheal diseases, these include the typhoidal fevers, these include the cholera, we have dysentery, in some other cases we have bilharzia. These cases are just meant to rise from the floods. When we have so much stagnating water, the bushes are there, it creates a breeding ground for diseases, and that's where malaria will rise. Malaria will thrive. Every rainy season, malaria rises. The cases of malaria rises. And actually, there are some training continuing now so that we can tackle on this malaria issue. We have heard from the Met Department that we are soon having the El Nino. So the El Nino means malaria will be here with us, and the cases are going to rise up. So we are asking our people, the measures, they are well known, that we should sleep under the mosquito nets. We should clear the bushes around us. Before those officers come visiting, the community health promoters come visit our homes, we should ensure that our bushes near our homes are cleared. We don't have any stagnant water around, or we can at least pour some the used oil so that we kill the route of transmission of these diseases. Those stagnating water they are the breeding grounds of mosquito. So mosquito is treatable and it can be prevented well by the people.
Okay.
Yes.
Talking of this new type that probably has emerged,
Yes.
what does it even mean to a common mwananchi? I mean, like, you're talking of preparedness, yes, but what does it even mean? Does it mean like it is a scare, or is it like much worse than the one that, has been around?
Now, you had asked earlier about the other type of malaria. It's maybe you could be talking of dengue fever, because these are now you will be talking of the zoonotic diseases. These are diseases from animals to humans. We've had cases of that dengue fever. We had chikungunya, but it wasn't this side of us in Western. It was in Mombasa. Now, those are just some slightly severe, yes, cases of or another variant of malaria-like disease. The prevention measures are the same, because since they are insects, they are flies, sleeping under a treated mosquito net will help us to combat it. Yes, and like I said, there are those sprays. There are those sprays. Though some environmentalists have ganged against them, against spraying, because they are also adding up to climate change. We are asking on the government to introduce some other measures. Maybe they have not been introduced in our country, but with the ever-changing environment, we believe these diseases will be developing some kind of resistance, So maybe new measures will be coming, but at the moment, we still maintain those normal preventive measures of mosquito nets, of clearing of bushes, and ensuring that we don't have the stagnant water around our homes. Yes.
I believe that, of course, talking of the preventive and also the curative area, you need funds.
Yes.
And it is one of the key things that Susan Nakhumicha talked about, the CS Health talked about during the summit. And they say that actually there is need of allocation. As of now, of course, I believe the county government, health is devolved. The county government always allocates some funds. And health actually gets a very good chunk of the budget. Do you think there is need to increase more, especially now that we have emerging diseases that actually come as a result of climate change?
Yes. There is need to increase the funding. Because if we're now going to engage the community health promoters, that means we need to reach more homes, that we need to empower these people to do some quality work. We need to map out the endemic zones and the epidemic zones. The endemic zones these are the areas that perennially have these diseases, malaria. And Kakamega is one of them.
Exactly.
Yes, Kakamega is one of them. Most of the western part is an endemic zone for this malaria. So we need more funds. We need to purchase more nets. And even while we are purchasing more nets, we also need staffing. Yes, our dispensaries are understaffed. Yes, we are asking the government to pump more funds to help in hiring of new staff. Yeah. So when we have that, then it means we'll manage the disease as well. Because when we have the community transmission and we cut it, that means the population at large will be safe from these diseases.
Okay. I believe that, other than health, there is a lot of sectors that have actually been, affected in one way or another with matters climate change. And it is a vast topic that we can talk about more and more. But again, we will be delving on that matter, but later on at around 11:30 to 1, we will also be talking about matters politics, whereby we will also be highlighting issues, the scorecard of the Kenya Kwanza later on in our next bulletin. But for now, we have to take a short break. Please don't change the channel.
Right, welcome back. This is Morning Cafe. Right about now, I want to cross over to the High Court, where the petition by Busia Senator, that is Okiya Omtata, is standing. Okiya Omtata is petitioning the unconstitutionalism of the Finance Act 2023. And this is being listened by 3 judges. The presiding judge, that is Honorable Justice David Majanja, Honorable Lady Justice Christine Meoli, and Justice Lawrence Mugambi. And you can cross over there live and listen in to what is happening.
Challenge here has various procedural and substantive instances of unconstitutionality. And cited instances of infractions of fundamental rights. My Lord, we will only highlight about 5 quickly because we submitted on most of them. Number 1, starting with the housing levy captured in Section 84 of the Act. It is our submission that this section purports to amend the Constitution. It purports to amend Schedule 4, Part 1, Part 2, Clause 8D, which exclusively gives the jurisdiction of housing to counties. The only leeway left to national government under Part 1, Clause 20, is housing policy. In purporting to create a levy and giving jurisdiction to the Cabinet Secretary to administer it, the Act is purporting to amend the Constitution, which cannot be allowed. And it's unconstitutional to that extent. The respondents seek to avoid that by saying that it's actually not a levy, it's a tax under Article 209. 1. My Lord, that does not answer the substantive issue of where the jurisdiction lies. By whatever name called, you cannot amend Schedule 4. In any event, my Lord, being taken to 209 can only serve the respondents adversely. For Article 209 is very clear on the kind of taxes that can be imposed. And it does not include such a tax as a housing levy or a housing tax. It is our further submission that it's unconstitutional to collect any form of tax, or in this case levy, without a foundational statute. Now, you'd have to establish, you'd have to get a statute to establish a housing fund, then you can collect such levies. That has not been done. I ask you, my Lord, to take judicial notice that in fact, having realized that anomaly, the respondents are only now trying to remedy that anomaly through a bill that is yet to be passed, the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2022, which is yet to be considered by Parliament. My Lords, you will note that at Clause 83, they now seek to bring clauses that will bring definitions and a foundation for the levy. It is our further submission on that issue that so-called housing levy is discriminatory insofar as it only targets formal employees and employers. That runs counter to Article 27. And to the extent that it is a mandatory contribution, it amounts to servitude and offends Article 30. Our last submission on that, my Lord, is that they have sought to compound that illegality and unconstitutionality by requiring the Kenya Revenue Authority to be the collector of that levy. Under Section 5 of the KRA Act, Kenya Revenue Authority has no such authority unless introduced by legislation to collect this kind of tax. What they can collect is restricted. We invite, my Lord, your ladies, to take note that this particular limb of the petition has not been answered by any of the respondents on the unconstitutionality of bringing a county function to national government. Our second limb, my Lord, is that the Finance Act, now challenged, introduces 22 new provisions out of 84. 22 new provisions that were not considered at the first reading, not considered at the second reading, and were not subjected to public participation. This constitutes 25% of the entire Act. Our simple submission on that respect, my Lord, is that that scheme of things offends Article 201A of the Constitution that requires openness, accountability, and public participation. The respondents, especially the National Assembly, does not contradict that assertion. Their submission is that is a matter of the internal workings of the National Assembly, and the courts should not interfere. We submit, my Lord, with respect, that there is a good reason why the Constitution, the statutes, and the standing orders require that these processes be undertaken. And public participation is not internal to the National Assembly. My Lord, my lady, limb number 3 is that, my Lord, before I leave that, the totality of the new provisions are captured in paragraph 64F of the amended petition. They are all outlined. My Lord, the third submission is on the scope of the Finance Act. Our submission, my Lord, is that this Finance Act 2023 includes matters that are outside the ambit of a Finance Act. and also outside of the ambit of a money bill under Article 114(1) and 3. Article 114(1) and 3 as read with Article 209. Well, we have outlined the Finance Act as captured, and the intention of any Finance Act, as with this, is an act of Parliament to amend the laws relating to various taxes and duties. Taxes and duties is always the ambit of the Finance Act. As we have demonstrated, my lord, this Finance Act has matters as if it's a statute miscellaneous amendment act. It covers a range of things.
There is a senior counsel and MP Rarieda, is Otiende Amolo, basically mentioning why they definitely want that particular Finance Act 2023 to be declared unconstitutional. That is in rather live pictures in the High Court. There definitely also seen the president of the Law Society of Kenya, that is Eric Theuri, and also one of the petitioners of this particular case, that is Senator of Busia, Okiya Omtata. This particular case goes on, starts today and also to tomorrow. We'll definitely be following up on what will be said. Remember, the presiding judge for that is Honorable Justice David Majanja. The other two judges there, Honorable Lady Justice Christine Meoli and Justice Lawrence Mugambi. And Fred, even one of the most contentious issues that coming out of this particular matter is the housing levy. And even I remember, even before it was declared an act, and even before it was passed, one of the contentious issues, even as Senator of Busia was poking holes on this, saying that the government, the national government, doesn't really have the competency to build houses.
Yes.
But then, interesting turn of events, even after it was, declared an act and it was passed. Right now, Kenyans have been cut 3% so far, dating back from July and August.
Yes, once it became law, so much of that cannot be challenged. But since it's already before court, I doubt there's much we can talk about. But we'll just have to wait and see as the legal processes and the wheels of justice turn. Away from that, there's one of our highlights that we mentioned. This has to do with the flooding in Libya.
Right.
And the death toll is really rising very fast. Remember, they said about 10,000 people are missing. And the death toll, I think, from some estimates, is getting very close to 5,000 already.
Wow.
And that is in Libya. And I can see even the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, tweeting our solidarity with the people of Libya in the face of devastating floods that have led to loss of lives and destruction of property. Kenya stands with you. And that's the latest message to the people of Libya from our President, William Samoei Ruto.
All right.
So definitely on Sunday, I think, at the weekend, that earthquake in Morocco. And now,
on Friday now.
Yes, on Friday, that earthquake in Morocco. Then on Sunday, the flooding in Libya. And it is indeed very sad for that part of this continent to be experiencing that kind of catastrophe.
And even speak of which, even as we are about to experience El Nino, hopefully we'll not be hearing such kind of matters.
Yes, well, we just do hope that we're ready for what is coming.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But you know what we're definitely ready for? Wrapping up the show.
Yes, indeed. This is where we wrap it up. This is where we dock for this edition of Morning Cafe. It's been a pleasure hosting you and having this discussion about Ruto's 1 year in office. 13th of September 2022, that's the day that President William Ruto took oath of office and became head of state, head of government, commander-in-chief of the defense forces of this great republic. And 1 year on, we continue looking at his scorecard and indeed the scorecard of the entire Kenya Kwanza administration. And that conversation will continue throughout the day. Remember our question today. Even 1 year on, what has been President William Ruto's biggest achievements. Even as we end the show this time, the conversation will continue online on our social media pages at TV47 News on X and TV47 Kenya Facebook. Continue interacting with us. My name is Fred Ndimuli. Good morning.
And I'm yours truly, Stanley Nyarungita. A whole other interesting conversation you're having this morning, Kenya's industrialization journey. Just taking stock of it, and you actually reminded to be participating